every video we do is going to be centered around the mindset, the money mindset, right? And so that's
Mhm.
kind of what we wanted to talk about today was money mindset, how your financial success is dictated on so much more. Like it's much less about how much you make and how much and what you do with it, but more what goes on
Right.
in here. And so what is money mindset, Josh?
Yeah, yeah, no, I'd love to kind of just touch on that real quick. You already did so well, Dylan. Like your financial success isn't just about what you earn, because there's always
Yeah.
more to go around, but it's really about what you believe about money. And there's that whole like
Hmm.
80-20 sort of rule out there where it's like, hey, 20% is, kind of the income that you make and what you earn, but 80% is really your behavior and how you operate with
Hmm.
money. And so, really, the central theme here is your money mindset drives your financial success. And frankly, like at the end of the day, with the right community around you, because, like, again, I mentioned this in previous videos, but like, we know what to do up here, but for some
Hmm.
reason, it doesn't always play out into the real
That's right.
world. And so, with the right community and accountability and discipline, you really can transform your beliefs and achieve your financial goals. And so, that's really kind of what we're talking about all the time, but especially today. And so
Yep.
the impact of mindset on financial decisions and the power of community and accountability and practical ways to build discipline around those kind of things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well,
what
and
what what is my money mindset? Why don't you go over that a little bit, Dylan?
yeah, I mean, the first step really to understanding what your mindset about money is, right? As an individual, if you're listening to this, the
Yeah.
first step is to kind of look at maybe your upbringing, look at your family of origin.
Yeah.
It's a great place to start. I can speak to this personally. I grew up in a family where I always had everything I needed, but money didn't exist in abundance.
Mhm.
We did not have, we were not wealthy and did not have a lot of extra money growing up. And so as a impressionable teenager coming up and going into college and entering life after that, I have adopted much more of a scarcity mindset. And I can look at
Yeah.
how my upbringing has impacted the way I think about money naturally. But just because I have a scarcity mindset doesn't mean I have all the right tools in place or community in place to process how to carry that into the future. Someone else maybe that did grow up more financially stable might have a bit more of an abundance mindset, and that comes with its own, I guess, habits, its own patterns, its own thought
Right.
processes. That's one way. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so like I kind of juxtapose that your upbringing with mine because mine was I hate to say the opposite, but in a lot of ways the opposite, which I'm
Yeah.
grateful for, frankly. Like at the end of the day, I am grateful that I grew up in a house that was able to provide for me almost anything I wanted within reason, of course. It's not like I was
Yeah.
spoiled or anything like that. At least I don't think I was. Some might look at me and say I was, but whatever. That's their prerogative. But like I'm grateful that I was able to grow up in that. And sometimes like in my mind, like I think, man, I'm not making enough right now because I'm comparing myself today to where my parents were at the
Hmm.
same age. And so that's kind of a weird sort of dynamic
Yeah.
as well. But somebody with a scarcity mindset may be like overly cautious
Hmm.
and they'll avoid taking risk because they feel like they need to like grasp things so tightly and because like if they don't they're gonna like lose it, right? And so they're
Yeah.
they're unwilling to take financial risks, be it with investing or starting a business or anything like that, while somebody with an abundance mindset, they may take calculated risks to grow their wealth because they
That's right.
see the opportunity in taking a risk and knowing that there's always more to go out there. Dylan, tell me what would, from your perspective and opinion, is like the role of community in shaping your money mindset?
Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad you asked because that's where I was going to go. The next step after looking at kind of your upbringing, family of origin, one of the biggest indicators of your money mindset can come from the people you spend time around. This is
Yeah,
true in any
100%.
this is true in any level of life. There's an old saying out there that I think it's you become the average of the five
Yeah,
people you spend the most time with. And that's
yeah,
true in the world of money. If you spend your
yeah.
time with people that have no financial discipline, spend whatever they want, whenever they want, rack
Who
up
aren't
piles of
going the
debt.
same direction as you,
Yeah,
right? Who
yeah,
make dumb
racking up.
decisions, who
Yeah,
spend money on dumb crap. Like, you're
yeah.
probably going to go the same way.
You're going to do that because you're going to get FOMO. You're going to miss out. You're going to be scared of missing out. You want to keep up with them. You want to keep up with their doing. And on the flip side of that, if you're
Yeah,
surrounded by people who are really disciplined with money, you're going to
Yeah.
be much more likely to stay disciplined yourself because you
Right.
become like the people
Dude,
you spend time with.
and this is exactly why, like, we're creating what we need as human beings,
Absolutely.
not just in the financial area, although that is what we are focused on, but it's like we need to join a community who is pushing us in the right direction. Yes, in lots of different areas of life, but specifically with finances, so that we can win together in finances.
Yeah, give me a little bit of a better picture of kind of just as you and I have dreamed together,
Yeah.
what we're thinking that's going to look like with money maps.
Yeah, yeah, man, I love it. Off script stuff. So basically, like, an online Discord is a great
Yeah.
way to stay connected and engaged with a community of people. And then, like, thinking through, because you're going to build relationships with those
Hmm.
people. Does it happen overnight? Of course not, especially not online, right? But if you get in, for example, communication with people, maybe on a, very foundational level, and then you move from there to like, hey, let's do like some group video calls together, like
Yeah.
accountability calls together, and we ask each other the hard questions and everything. And then from there, it's like, hey, as Dylan and Josh, like, we're your financial coaches, and it's like,
Hmm.
we're going to be the ones to, like, one-on-one ask
That's
you
right.
those difficult questions, and maybe even go as far as to, like, ask you some difficult, uncomfortable questions of like, hey, how's your spending been in this particular area, and create
Yeah.
a catered plan. And not just that, not just create a plan for you and let you go, because again, humans by nature are so undisciplined, but we're there to basically be like your financial coaches, your
Hmm.
financial personal trainers. This is why
That's right.
personal trainers are so great, because like, you
Yeah.
have to go to them and you're forced to go to them, and they're going to be the person like, hey, have you been eating correctly? Hey, are you working out correctly?
That's
Hey, are you
right.
getting to bed at the right time? And so it's like, that's how we see our roles too, to like hold your feet to the fire so that you are making those right decisions. I don't need to
Absolutely.
ramble anymore.
No, you're good. I mean, our dream, for those of you listening, just to know, like, what Josh and I's dream coming into this was that, like, both of us are just fed up with the
Yeah.
state of personal finance and how little education there is in
Right.
this world, how little accountability is. And we kind of said, why is there nobody providing a space for people to receive accountability and get on a
Yeah.
path? And so that's part of what we're after, whether that's in our Discord server or elsewhere. We want to provide some one-on-one coaching opportunities. We
Mm-hmm.
want to provide some group opportunities like savings challenges and
Mm-hmm.
progress goals and all those sorts of things. But we do have to, start to think ultra practically, right? Obviously, we want
Yes.
you to join our Discord server. We want you to follow us on socials, become a part of our community. But just thinking like the second I get off of this video, what can I do? What are some of those things?
Yeah, that's a great question. 3 really quick tips that I think we can go over. Now, here's the thing. It's like, we live in this like, soundbite world. And so it's like,
Yeah.
hey, here are 3 great tips to save. The problem with this soundbite world that we live in is, as an individual, we almost always lack the discipline. It's like, go scroll through social media for a second. Like, you're going to forget it after less than 2 minutes of getting
Yeah.
off of it, even though they're really good content, right? And so it's like, this is why that accountability and discipline is so important. So anyways, those 3 tips, like, really quick: start small, achievable goals, really simple. $5
That's
a
right.
day. Okay. Literally $5 a day is $150 a month. You could even start smaller if you want to. Start with $100 a month, $50 a month, put it away, because you're building that discipline muscle, right?
It's a muscle.
Tip number 2, automate your finances. Set up automatic transfers or to savings or investments to remove the temptation. Just like, you have to be completely unemotional about it, which is why accountability is important, because we help take the emotion out of it. You're like, do I really need to invest? Like, yes, you do, right? Tip number 3, use a budgeting app. Ultra practical. There's a ton of them out there. I know you are a fan of Every Dollar, which is
Yes.
Dave Ramsey thing. Great guy.
Yep.
I used to use one called YNAB, stands for You Need a Budget, and we transitioned to a different one. But YNAB was cool for a long time. It's a paid one. But use a budgeting app or tool. Heck, use Excel if you want to track spending and stay on top of the financial commitments. So those are kind of just, 3
Yeah.
real quick tips.
That's really great. That's because all 3 of those things are going to do is, number one, like you said, they create discipline. They just start building
Yeah.
a muscle, but it also starts to begin to change how you think about yourself. If you have always
Yes.
If you've always told yourself that you're never going to be good with money, if you've
Mm-hmm.
told yourself that you just are never going to have enough, you're just, I hate to sound like, that cliche, like power of positive thinking, whatever, but
Yeah.
there's so much power in what we allow our minds to think about. If we
Yeah.
allow those thoughts of negativity about ourselves to fill how we think about our money, that's who we're going to become. And so it's
Right.
even as simple as changing some of the ways, those stepping into those three practical things will help you be able to say, rather than saying I'm bad with money and always believing that, you're shifting your thinking to maybe I'm learning to manage and I'm learning every
There you
day.
go.
That's a
Dude.
powerful mental shift that can
Yes.
happen and give you so much momentum.
Yes. And this is why, like, as an individual, it can feel like you're stuck in this like rut or this trench. And this is why
Hmm.
having a personal coach or personal financial coach or trainer, if you want to use that word, is so essential so that we can evaluate and think through like, hey, why are you telling yourself that? Maybe it's
Hmm.
like oftentimes it just takes hearing that from somebody else to
Yeah.
like get us out of that rut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something silly. I remember my grandfather telling me when I was growing up. This doesn't have to do with money, but I can relate it back to money. He
Mm-hmm.
always taught me to be a confident person. And he told me I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And he said, Dylan, I want you to wake up every day in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror and just say, dang, I'm good looking. And
Yes.
it's this silly thing that he said he did every day, but it was just a confidence booster to fill his
Yeah.
identity. And it's like, imagine if we could take that idea and translate it over to money. What if you woke up every day, if you had a
Yeah.
sticky note on your desk that just said, I am capable of managing my money. I am
Yeah.
capable of building wealth. Those simple things can begin to change everything about the way you think, even
Yes.
as far
And
as, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, and it can get into this almost like weird belief of like, yeah,
Yeah.
positivity and yeah, optimism and like that's good, right? But ultimately, like where motivation ends is where discipline starts.
That's right. That
Somebody
is
tweet
right.
that really quick because you can't live off of motivation alone. You have
Nope.
to just come back to and say like, I am a disciplined person, period. And you again have to take that emotion
Hmm.
out of it because that's all motivation is. It's just an emotion. And so you have to take the emotion out of it and realize like I am a disciplined person. I am going to be disciplined with my finances no matter how difficult or hard it and painful maybe it might feel.
Yeah, no, this is so good. And this has been a really, really good conversation as we start to kind of put a bow on this. So what do we've covered several practical things. What
Yeah.
do we want the people here listening to do next?
Yeah, I mean, without sounding cliche, like all the other, people on videos do, it's like, hey, if you like where we're going with this,
Mm,
honestly, like reach out to us, send us a message. We'd love to start a
yeah.
conversation with you and just kind of see where you're at and see if we might be able to provide some value to you. Of course, like all of our stuff, subscribe to our YouTube.
Hmm.
We'd love to, get to know you on a more personal level. But as well, at the end of the day, like join our Discord. Like that's going to
Yeah,
be the best way for you to start building relationships and start building some accountability relationships
that's right.
as it relates specifically to finances. So yeah, subscribe for more content, join our Discord, follow us on all the socials. We'd love to get to know you.
Yeah, it's great. Look forward to meeting you guys, hopefully.
Awesome. Awesome. We'll see you next time, team.